be joining halfway through a set. It had to be called off due to internet issues. And we will be taking a pair. Seems fair enough. Even though it's not exactly the best unicorn start. And that's rough into a very good start by Markoto. Nope. Gets offered a triple, but it's a Cuddle Toad, not typically considered the best unit. Seems like we are taking a triple. We are throw rounding. Oh, that sure is an interesting board from Markoto. Gets a draw, so another player going to be super happy to see that. We get a Minotaur, that's pretty good. Out of all the things that Unicorn Pack can do to keep up the tempo versus Pack 1, typically considered to be a slightly better pack, Minotaur is definitely up there, and so is that Ogopogo. So we're definitely happy to see that. Considering this Water of Youth, it's interesting. It's not something I would have considered, but I suppose it is pretty high upside. You have some pretty decent things to hit. Especially if we get a good Ogopogo target, could be nice. So it just takes the Bunyip, which accomplishes the same thing and getting a better Minotaur going. So, but that's not the board you want to see coming out of Markoto. Well, not doing too shabby. Does decide to go for it now. Toy. No, stacks to Ogopogo. Just looking for levels. Freezes a wall chicken. Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be really rough to keep the tempo against Makoto's board. Has a duck cell onto some pretty good units, so wouldn't be surprised to see Unicorn fall behind a little bit. So definitely the case right now where draws would be as good as wins, or almost as good as wins, because you're so likely to lose a couple of the upcoming fights. Yeah. It's pretty much bound to happen. Takes a tear up now. Finds a unicorn to go with the wall chicken, I presume. is what we're thinking. Yep, that indeed seems to be what is thinking. Now sets up the gingerbread man pretty, looking to be pretty good, given, yeah, this is pretty good. Have some more tier ups going, and hopefully we can find the breakpoints this time as stuff as it is. Just a shame that we're still rolling with a couple tier ones when Markoto has been able to really supercharge his way through the mid game with that relatively silly number of ducks. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Gets offered. Tier up. Yep. Makes sense. You really badly want to keep up some tempo. And you're probably just going to lose if you try to hold your triples here. So I really like this strategy from Wombat, even though it looks weird. I think you're pretty much forced to tier up and try for tempo and see where it leaves you. Interesting to see the rock here. North Potion, yeah, going really all in on trying to get big. Up front, but it's so tough to compete with the double scalers, double giraffes that we see on Makoto's side. It's yeah, it's certainly an act of desperation that we're seeing here. Yeah, even that wasn't enough. Now we also don't have a triple setup. Do we get a tiger bug? If anything's gonna get back a bit of the tempo, it would be a tiger bug, especially one that's immediately getting wall chickened. I think you could even. Yeah, it's just the positioning gets a little rough here because ideally, of course, you'd like to. Oh, well, that works because now we're gonna get the Ogopogo as well as the Tiger Bug, really supercharging the Minotaur here. Mm-mm. If you're a Wombat, you really gotta hope it's enough to claw back this deficit. Oh, that's just about the last thing you want to see if you're Wombat, even though you invest so hard in all this tempo. It's still not enough. I might have to does decide to try for a level up on the unicorn, but you really don't have to pray that it won't be too little too late. So yeah, I indeed skipping that gingerbread is really quite strange. I definitely would have thought that we were going to see a gingerbread on the Minotaur. Would have represented a pretty sizable increase in tempo. It's oh, true. That is how Ogopogo works. It now no longer targets itself. That is true. I think. Don't quote me on that. I don't play Unicorn back. So you didn't fight? Yeah, it is. Yeah, that was just brutal. Very strong start from Markoto. With that, Markoto moves up to 3 in the set. We will be switching to his point of view. So we do. Yeah, no Mermal. Just in general, the first turn was just the first couple turns were just really rough, facing a lot of ducks while not finding guys like Mermal, and then after that, Makoto was just able to keep up his advantage uh, throughout. Just a big time tempo deficit over and over. He does decide to switch it up again, playing pack 4. Markoto gets offered a pair, but it was I think he is considering it, but yeah, does elect against it. That's yeah, that's pretty brutal. Oh, does decide to roll down and finds maybe won't find a roll. There is a pretty decent chance we get the loss now, given we're running a 3 squad. Yep, the loss has been acquired, so Snail is active. Flamingo rolls looking for. Well, probably just good enough. Yep. Interested to see what he chooses here between the Dodo and the Badger as his preferred buff target. Does go with the Badger. And of course does. What about that apple? This is interesting. Takes us first real loss now. Oh, I guess finding a snail for your efforts. Not the worst you could be doing. It's yeah, all seems pretty reasonable. Just to keep the beaver around for a little bit of cell gold. And then a honey badger at the back. And then hoping that the beaver and the flamingos get big enough to break through the number of doorhead ants we might see. I kind of like this positioning. It gets a badger to another breakpoint after the flamingo. It represents increased, yeah, damage up front. Really like that. Takes tier up. I'm assuming, yeah, just takes tier. Just good tempo. And keeps it up. Take the pair, the shop for the badger. It's offered a snail pair. Question is, will he take it? He does take it, so he's committing to the snail at least for a little bit. Normally means next turn we're looking for either a pill to ultimately use our flamingo to get board space for either the badger or the snail triple, rather than using the snail as the slow. But it makes sense as the badger and flamingo are both already level 2 and thus represent more salvo. Yep. Probably not the duplicate Markoto want to see in the shop. I'm assuming we're just gonna roll over it. Yep. So at this point, pretty much exclusively looking for the pill to make room, and if not that, indeed, just take let's see if he's considering taking a gold efficient apple. Doesn't actually seemingly meaningfully increase against any breakpoints, I think. I think if I were Markoto, I would just be rolling down here. Not sure why we're positioning on 3 gold. Gets offered the Toto triple, but it wouldn't have any buffs on it, so very reasonable skip. Is possibly going to get level 2 snail value here. Ooh, and finds the other tier up in shop. Of course, taking the snail tier up first. Oh, that's about as good of a hit as you're going to get. Turkey and a monkey. One for pivoting, one for scaling. just about everything going your way if you're a coder here. Yep. In terms of positioning, we're really just trying to maximize. Obviously, gonna get our monkey stats on the badger, and then we want the deer to absorb the hit. Even without the turkey, the bee would have made a difference. So quite interesting. Makes sense. A little bit more insurance. Interesting. Debating whether to take the turtle, but putting it on badger would be tough, given that it would absorb. I think also it would have to go onto the deer after getting hit. Oh, this makes sense. Then just try to get the smallest thing killed. And this monkey is really helpful in getting this badger to hit crucial breakpoints onto Wombat's flea and onto Wombat's doorhead ant. Debating the position of this turtle. Yeah. This time it's enough for Wombat, who manages to find some good scanning in return, but that is a second monkey that will now enter Markoto's board, and oh, that's a lot of things that were found in one turn. Looking at well, so Tiger's a bit rough, and the Wolverine obviously isn't really going to do much here either. Curious to see what we're doing here. Again, the positioning before we've actually ended the turn. I'm curious what we will see in the end here. It is the tiger. Okay, so I wonder how we're going to make room for the next turn. Curious. That's a very, very nice breakpoint if you're Markoto. He's definitely gotten the better of Wombat on these kinds of occasions. The Rhino is in shop, but against level 1.5, possibly level 2 Sea Lion and a level 2 Baboon, we were actually seeing Wombat reasonably keep up with scaling. So wisely elects to forego it. Interesting distribution of the. Oh, that's a nice little level up to find. Besides, again, the cat is interesting. Would have provided a pretty robust scaling advantage, but probably think that level 2 monkey is already accomplishing much of that. Wants to make a difference, hopefully this fight. To be fair, Flea represents a lot of damage that could very well kill Wombat over this turn and the next turn. Think a melon, but no secondary unit to put it on. This could still get very scary for Markoto. We're in a very weird spot. Obviously, we have a pretty big unit and a monkey to scale it, but other than that, the backline looks somewhat unfocused. It's definitely far from over. A little bit of protection against any snipes that could come its way. Think grizzly bear. Yeah. Think about the turkey. I think that makes sense. There's secretly a lot of things on your board that could very reasonably go, including essentially nearly everything but the badger. Freezes a hunt. That's interesting. Yep, that. Yep, and there you can see how big that protection was on the fly. Very, very well identified by Markoto that was his loose condition. Now moves up to match points as we will watch Wombat's point of view as Wombat tries to come back in. Now seeing a back 2 game. Looks like we're certainly getting knowledge checked on the broadcast today. Oof. Have to lose, but looking at a pretty good board early. Decides to opt for maximal long-term stats. I'm actually not entirely sure if I agree with that, given we've lost the first turn, but no, probably is correct. The moth isn't really gonna. Well, even now it's not really doing much onto this bluebird either. It's a little bit strange. We do manage to to win one back. Of course, we do give up potential snail value, but it is what it is. No triples here, but shrimp is a decent consolation prize. Well, we even immediately have a lemur for it. Garlic press. Yeah. Gets a tier up now. Ooh. That's real interesting. Yeah, that's really tough. Shrimp, that makes sense. Shrimp is on his job. One now be. Nice. We're skipping tier ups. Interesting. I'm not sure about that. It makes some sense given that we really want to be preserving our tempo. Gets offered a sturgeon pill, which could potentially be quite useful. Okay, we do roll down to get a second tier up. Fishing. Of course, it's going to be hard to predict what Markoto's board will look like. Still very much in flux with some sellable units. But all in all, things could have gone much worse in the elimination game here for Wombat. We do lose this fight. That was quite predictable. That was going to happen. We got ourselves a tier up on the cheap. Oof. We got a Gariel. If we're gonna get something to keep the tempo, it could be worse than that. Very much so not interested in the llama. Just see that we're skipping out on the tier up entirely. That feels a bit strange to me. I'm fairly sure you could just skip the toy in. That's a little confusing. Let's get off for the hatching chick, which combines with the melon and the moth itself to create a pretty sizable unit. Fun. What am I saying? We don't have garlic press anymore. Don't mind me. Oh, but wins that anyway. Of course, we'll create that after next turn. Some cell gold. Yeah, it was very nice to win the fight. Looking for pangolin, which finds it and immediately has a pill for it too. Can't take that pangolin. as it would. Mhm. Let's see how this fight goes. Oh, that's a tough breakpoint. Let's get another loss, but we have a decent sized unit and we have another tier up. Yeah, we can't really go garlic press and also have a front milling unit, so that's a bit tough. I have to choose a radio here. Bluebird, reasonably set up for an early poodle. Okay, gets off for the shrimp tier up. Obviously not exactly interested. Okay, that's a tier up we're a little more interested in. I wonder how attached we're going to get to this radio. Of course, skipping a puppy makes a decent amount of sense, especially given that you would have had to freeze it, but next turn it's going to be on one. Are we not going to buy a good toy pet simply because we're missing out on radio value? Certainly interesting to see what Wombat has to say about it. That's a little scary. The pivot again finds a turkey. This time combines it with a shark and a parrot for it too. Ends up freeze rolling with her moth. Not sure if that's exactly what I would have done. Yep, just gonna roll completely down with it. Probably was looking for some kind of units pivot into, but not quite sure what Wombat is thinking doing that with a frozen chop slot. It's makes your rolls just 25% less valuable. Yep, indeed. I would have also sold for the muff here. Uh, hmm, well, already somewhat. Of course, doing it in one go would make a big difference. Yeah, that's rough. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to see something here. Immediately rips chocolate onto the poodle. Well, gets rewarded. Immediately finds another. So that represents a pretty big scaling advantage. Um, could could very well be enough for the immediate future. Yeah, Fluffo, it just saves gold, and there's just not much point in not doing it earlier, especially because you're already um, not sure about your poodle buffs with the bluebird and the moth. And it's only level 1. Okay. Managed to get a draw. That's pretty big. Finally, let's go of lemur for. I'm going to see if we rip this immediately. Do yeah, we do. Mungusha. I'm still very worried about Wombat's long-term position here. We haven't really had the typical Pack 2 strong pivot in the late game. It's arguably Markoto that still has the stronger pivot power on board. With Turkey and being able to move into a bunch of Exodia lines. Even winning that fight is pretty strong if you're Markoto. Yeah. Definitely going to have to dig deep here. And even the coconut is not even particularly useful into the summons board that Markoto has built up. Oh yeah, no, the poodle scaling is big. It represents the it represents the biggest out there is. I'm just unsure if it's realistically going to be enough. Yeah, I kind of agree. I think this is kind of going down the wrong road of seemingly trying to get more and more coconuts. This lemon. I'm not sure what this lemon does either. We'll have to see. Guess it protects against buses. That's yeah. Well, if I'm not mistaken. The score is now 5-1. Yeah, I agree, Fluffo. Definitely little little suspect here and there. Maybe switching from pack to pack every game isn't just taking a toll on the commentators. It might have taken a toll on Wombat too, as really didn't seem like any of the packs didn't look to be super comfortable on any of them. Although Markoto obviously did hit an early turkey. I'm pretty sure in all 3 of the games. I might be misremembering that, but I'm fairly sure hit it a bunch of times. I think hit monkey turkey, turkey shark, which is pretty tough to come back from if you're playing, especially if you're playing non-mirrors. So let's get the bracket up. At least I hope that I'm correct. Yes, Markoto 5. Now where was I? This was a match in D where Markoto now moves up to, I believe, 3-1. If I'm not mistaken. Markoto, yes, with only Lightmare to play. So at this point, looking like a very strong contender to make it as one of the top 2 seeds in the group. Wombat takes a second loss, and with that, is going to have to come back pretty hard in the next 3 games to try and secure a spot among the 3 and 4 seeds that will make it to our lower bracket. And with that update, I will stop streaming. I don't have the keys to this account, so I cannot read you out or anything, but if he is still alive, please do go and watch our winner for today, Markoto SSBM on Twitch. Hopefully see you all there.